While I was driving home from a late shift, my phone started buzzing nonstop in the cup holder. I panicked, thinking something had happened to one of my kids, so I pulled to the shoulder to check. It was my wife, text after text of photos. She'd surprised the boys with a kitten while I was at work, and they were over the moon. I grinned and started typing back, and just as I lifted my eyes to pull out again, I saw a truck barreling toward me on the wrong side of the road. It hit the front corner of my car head-on. My head snapped sideways so violently my whole left side went numb instantly. The phone flew out of my hand, the windshield exploded into 1,000 pieces, and the world spun into ringing silence. My car was folded like paper. When my vision cleared, I saw the driver of the truck climb out, a young woman, not a scratch on her. I forced air into my lungs and croaked, "Please, call someone, help me." But she just clamped both hands over her mouth, stared at me for one frozen second, and ran. I knew if I passed out, I might not wake up. I clung to consciousness until I finally heard sirens. An officer reached the wreck first and started pulling at my door. I thought I was saved. Then he leaned in and snarled, "You plowed right into her. Do you have any idea what you've done?" I couldn't even answer. I was bleeding, glass buried in my forearm, my neck wrong in a way I couldn't describe, and this man was screaming at me. More units arrived. Paramedics swarmed, but he kept shouting over all of it. By the time they slid a needle into my arm, I was half convinced I really had caused it. Then everything went dark. I woke in a hospital bed, unable to move my right arm. When I turned my head, stiff inside a brace, I saw why. I was handcuffed to the rail. "Nurse," I rasped. "Why am I cuffed?" She wouldn't look at me. "I can't discuss an active case, especially not with someone facing what you're facing." Facing what? Before I could ask, the door swung open, and the same officer strode in. "Morning, sunshine. How many you have before you got behind the wheel? Pills? Booze?" I could barely speak. I didn't take anything." He laughed. "Sure, you creamed an innocent girl. We already know you were loaded. Just save us the trouble and admit it." Other officers filed in to take a statement, but he wouldn't let up. "Don't care that your neck's busted. You earned it. You're going away for a long, long time." The rest just stood there, watching me, saying nothing. Then the door opened again. Through my blurred vision, I thought it was my wife, but the figure was younger, smaller. As she came closer, I recognized her, the woman from the truck. She looked at me, cuffed and broken in that bed, and her eyes filled. Her hands went to her mouth again, and she gasped. The officer spun around and went white. "Tamsin, what are you doing here? You can't be in here." She looked at him, tears spilling over. "Please, Uncle Reed, I can't do this. I have to tell them what really happened." Every other cop in the room went still. He grabbed her shoulders and started steering her toward the door. "No, out. He's already guilty. You don't need to see this." She fought him. "No, Uncle Reed, I have to tell the truth. It was me." He shoved her into the hallway and pulled the door shut, but it was already too late. The tallest officer stepped forward, frowning. "Hold on. You never told us the other driver was your niece." Reed's face cracked. It doesn't matter. He was high anyway, right?" The big officer didn't blink. "Was he? Did anyone actually run a talk screen? Or did we just take your word?" Nobody had thought to check Reed's own body camera. When they finally pulled the footage, it showed everything. His niece staring at her phone, drifting across the center line, slamming into me at full speed, and her uncle, first on scene, deciding in real time to bury it on a stranger. My talk screen came back clean. The cuffs came off that afternoon, and an officer I'd never met sat by my bed and quietly apologized. It took months of physical therapy before I could turn my head again. But Reed was the one who ended up in a cell, charged with falsifying evidence and obstruction. His niece, at least, told the truth when it counted. Some nights I still hear that windshield go, but I hold my wife's hand, watch that kitten tear around the living room, and remind myself I'm here to see it.